campus, they're all in the know. Pick some winners and then
Live on a cloudy, rainy Thursday afternoon in Cleveland, where I am. It is 2 p.m. Eastern on the West Coast. And in Vegas, it is 11 a.m. Still morning time. Doug Kezirian, my friend, I haven't seen you in a while. I feel like it's been over a week. Where you been? Where have I been?
Spreading the wealth. It's All-Star break was the start of it, and then we were just kind of yinging and yanging. You and I trading off hosting, things along those lines. Yeah. But it's been a good run, both baseball and the WNBA. We have a light card today, but there's always opportunities. I actually like some stuff in the game going on right now. I know we're going to get into.
Yeah.
But, it's a grind. I know you were talking about it yesterday with Wes and early in the week with Chris. Like, you can't win every day. You just got to grind out wins, take good value bets, and hope the breaks go your way, so to speak.
I'm excited right now because I'm hot. The last 2 days I've made one pick. I've picked a winner 2 days in a row, and so I'm feeling good about that. Hopefully people are with me there. A lot of times I haven't been making picks on the show, but I had the Royals over the Braves on Tuesday, and I had the Rangers over. Can't even remember who they were playing yesterday. Angels, thank you. And so that was a winner. So I'm excited about that. How's your week been so far, Doug?
It's been good. I had really bad beat in the WNBA. Should have gone 3-0, but I did not. Went 2-1, and I guess another loss with a 0.1 unit on a plus 700. But I hit a plus 480 the other night, although It was a dead heat finish. So it actually was only plus 240. But nonetheless, it was great handicap. I got backdoored or something, but it should have been a plus 480. But that's the stuff. I think there's real vulnerability in the WNBA. Baseball, obviously a tighter market, but there's opportunities, especially in the live market. And I think that's the fun of this stuff is you can find the opposition, the odds makers, asleep at the wheel here and there.
You mentioned the game going on live. We'll talk about that in a second. There's only 3 games today, and I think they purposely did that this year because today's the trade deadline. And when the deadline hits at 6 p.m., there will probably not be any games going on. This game is going on now, and then you have a game at 7:10 Eastern and a game at 9:40 Eastern. The deadline is at 6 Eastern, which I think is smart. Having a team playing as the deadline is going is probably not a great idea. It's good to keep this day light. But let's start with that game. Yankees demolishing the Rays in the rubber game of this series. Yankees up 7-0. Marcus Stroman actually pitching a good game. I mean, it's early. It's only been 3 innings, but he's perfect through 3 with 3 strikeouts. The Yankees in this game have a home run by Giancarlo Stanton, his 8th of the year, and Ben Rice hit his 16th. Paul Goldschmidt also has a double in this one. Ryan McMahon, who got the big walk-off hit yesterday as an RBI, he's done good so far for them. What are you looking at right now, Doug, in this 7-0 game?
It's really interesting because Stroman coming in struggling, right? And then Pepio's, he's just kind of a mixed bag. So the Yanks bats are hot. They've been touching him up. And so the line coming into this inning in the top of the 4th just underway. Mm-hmm. And it was -6.5, -109 or something like that. So it's like basically will the Yankees win by 7 or more? And like you said, you got Stroman going with a perfect game. Clearly Pepio doesn't have his best stuff. Is the Yanks lineup good? No, but it's okay now. And I think this is the beauty of live betting is you just don't know if a pitcher's going to have it or not, right? Who did I bet on? Somebody added like 3 miles per hour to their fastball or cutter, and because they changed their grip on something, and all of a sudden they're a much better pitcher. And then so things like that. So that's why when you watch these games with live betting and you listen to an analyst who's a former pitcher or catcher, you're going to pick up some good stuff. So clearly Stroman's in a groove in my eyes. I'd be inclined to lay the 6.5, but I'd also be inclined to look at some of these every inning. There's props, like in this case, will the Rays score a run? Now it gets a little pricey at -330, but man, you have some options now. Lau singled, so it's a different inning. I wouldn't have done it the middle of the lineup, so I would look at the bottom of the lineup. Although the Rays are kind of a top to bottom lineup. But some of these opportunities, you can get some good juice. Now, it's not like the odds makers or the algorithms don't realize it's the middle of the lineup or whatever it is. But I still think if a pitcher's in a groove, then his past performance is factored into the algorithm too much versus how well he's pitching today, or for the first few innings. And that's the beauty of, I think, live betting.
Yeah, no doubt. There's always something you can jump on, some advantage you can get, as you say, by watching, especially if you're able to watch the game. And nowadays, with mobile devices, you're able to watch everything or almost everything, unless it's a blackout situation. So, yes, there may be something that you can pick up during a game that you wouldn't necessarily be able to pick up before the game, that the odds makers may not know about. And that could certainly play a role. For example, I think we know about it at this point, but the Rays have already had 2 players leave the game early. Now, I don't know if we're talking a potential trade, but Yandy Diaz left the game for Christopher Morel. Now, it's probably an injury, not a trade, but from a perspective of a bet you may make on the game, that doesn't really matter. Christopher Morel replaced him. And also the Rays leadoff hitter, the speedy Chandler Simpson, he left their game as well, replaced by Jake Mangum. So just something to keep an eye on. And the Rays are threatening now with second and third, nobody out here against Stroman in the top.
Okay, so this is interesting. So it's 13.5 was the over-under.
Yeah.
Would you jump on that? I mean, if those 2 get home, that's 9. You only need 5 more runs in 6 innings, right? Because nobody out in the 4th. So
yep.
Okay.
Well, one of them just scored. It was
Right.
I actually got the game on now. It's an RBI single.
Okay.
An
so
RBI
still nobody
single.
out.
Yeah. So it's still first and third, nobody out. So here come the Rays, 3 straight hits.
So now I would hit the over. Like I would.
Now you're hitting the over.
Because the Yankees offense is going to be fine given what Pepio's doing and things like that. So now
the over
14,
the over at the moment
I would hit
is
4. Yeah, I'll make over 14 minus 122 a bet, an official bet.
And it's funny because they on Bet Rivers here, as soon as you said that, 10 seconds later it closed.
Yeah, I think there's a hit or something. Something happened in the game at least.
Let's see. Fly ball to deep left field and a little play-by-play. Oh, it's caught, but a run's going to score. Left fielder, they were stumbling and bumbling around. So it's a sacrifice fly for Caminero. He just missed hitting a 3-run homer. And so now it's 7-2. So, yeah, if you bet the over 14, well, you're already just 5 runs from
it'll
push.
probably be the same. It'll probably be 14 again.
Yeah.
So what happens is in these cases, and I think everyone should realize this that they haven't noticed. So it was a runner on second and third. Yeah, see, it's 14. The juice actually went under. So second and third, nobody out. And then there was a base hit. So when it went to first and third, run scored, first and third, nobody out. So with a guy on first and a force out on second, the money line of or the over under and how many runs are going to be scored actually goes down because of the force out option on second base. So while the overall game over under will go over because a run scored and a guy moved to third, the 3-way lines, the tie, who wins the 4th inning, tie or draw, and then each team, or how many total runs in this inning by both teams or the Rays. So those numbers are going to change because of that lead runner or one of the lead runners that second base could get out. But yeah, I mean that is a factor in all this. So something to keep in mind with live betting. Just because a guy gets a base hit doesn't mean it helps you.
Yeah, I mean the Rays. I'm watching. I'm on the Bet Rivers app. The total runs went from over 14 minus 104 to plus 104 to minus 104 back now to plus 104. Every pitch, I guess, as the count changes.
Correct. And then it's all about the force out at second will change a lot of this because they now with 1 out, that run already got in. But if it was first and third, no out, that run on third's very likely to change because the infield will be back and no force out, stuff like that. Or a double play doesn't end the inning, with nobody out. So that's sort of what happens.
Yeah. So Josh Lowe did.
And don't forget that the Yankees aren't done scoring.
That's true.
I mean, their team totals 9.5, I believe.
Yeah, this has the feel of a game that's going to be very high scoring. So the over seems like a really good play here. It's now
13.5 minus 09.
Yeah, went down to 13.5 because there was a force out. The inning's not over yet, but So it's 7-2 with 2 outs and a runner on first in the top of the fourth. Folks, let me tell you something. If you like what you hear on our shows, sign up for our newsletter. Get exclusive tips and the free Insider magazine. Sign up for free at bettingweeklystudios.com. All right, we'll get back to this Yankees-Rays game in action. The Rays actually just Lau just stole second base, so they now have a runner at scoring position with 2 outs and Johnny DeLuca at the plate. But there are 2 games coming up tonight, Doug, so let's get to those.
Real quick, I just want to put a bow on this.
Yeah.
When you're making live bets on like the game total in the 4th inning, all you're doing is really betting on the next half inning or so. I know that sounds a little extreme, but you're saying this is the best number I'm going to get on the over right now.
Right.
Because if you're like, oh, I think there'll be 14 runs, it's 13. It's like, yeah, but you could get 12 and a half in the bottom half of the inning. If they get out of this inning in the bottom half, the first guy gets out, that might be 12 and a half.
The Rays are really betting on the next
half. So you're really betting on the next half inning because the number's going to move back and forth. So now look, if you're just putting a few bucks and you want to like watch the game while you're banging out work emails and you're not going to be live trading, fine. I get it.
Yeah.
You just think it's going to be a shoot. Like you said, it has all the makings of a high scoring game. But if you also want to consider this, so the Rays did score. So so the live total is now 13.5 over minus 215. But yeah, I just think like you're really banking on the bottom half of the inning, and Pepio's given up 3 runs, and 1 run so far in the first 3 innings. So I'd be banking on the Yankees to score in the bottom half.
I wonder if they'll take him. I wonder if they thought about staying with him longer, and now that the Rays have made a little bit of a comeback, will they change the pitcher? Although they're selling, so I don't know. It's also starting to rain there, so that could play a factor in things too. But yeah, an RBI single for DeLuca made it 7-3. He's at first with 2 outs.
They're not going to send him like they sent Lau to steal.
Right. And Taylor Wall's now up. All right, let's take a look at the other 2 games that we got today, Doug. Braves and Reds, a 7:10 Eastern start in Cincinnati. Any play for you in this game?
I love Abbott. You know that. Like he's not the worst Cy Young bet right now. If this guy all of a sudden just gets another groove, I mean, what he did in the month of June was incredible, right? 2.2 ERA. If they can get some more wins, all of a sudden some of these other guys in the NL blow up a little bit. I mean, he's pretty impressive. So, and this Braves lineup this Braves team just been overpriced like no other. Not a fan of this team. I know Chris Macero's been on this show a bunch.
Yeah.
Sort of bet against them. He bet against, couple. So they lost 2 of 3 in Kansas City. They got swept in Texas. They got lost 2 of 3 at home to the Giants. Lost 2 of 3 at home to the Yankees. This is just not a good team, and their pricing's crazy. Now the injuries are hitting them. Now Abbott's finally getting priced appropriately. He's minus 190, 185 at Bet River, so that feels heavy, but I'd probably do a run line or something like that. I just think I think he's just so much better than people realize. Abbott's a stud.
But before I comment on that, Doug, another run with 2 outs for Tampa. Johnny DeLuca stole second base, and then he did, and then Taylor Walls hit a double down the right field line. So it's now 7-4 Yankees with a runner on second, 2 outs. What a game! A lot of fun.
So yeah, that over bet looking good now at this point.
Oh, it's looking great. It certainly is. I'm with you on Abbott. I love him. The guy he's under the radar because he plays for the Reds, not under your radar, but for a lot of casual fans, he's under the radar because he plays for Cincinnati. We see that with a lot of good pitchers that play in the Midwest outside of like Chicago and Houston. See it with Joe Ryan in Minnesota is under the radar guy. But he is a sneaky interesting candidate for Cy Young. Max, who sometimes works as a producer on this show and my podcast, he laid a few bucks on Nathan Eovaldi, by the way, who we'll talk about the Rangers in a little bit, but on the on Eovaldi to win the Cy Young. So that's another interesting because his ERA is like 150. He doesn't qualify in terms of innings yet, but he should if he makes all the starts the rest of the year. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, so I've talked about the Heisman being the most fickle market there is. Cy Young's pretty bad too.
Yeah.
It's what have you done for me lately? And even the MVP is like that. I mean, the stats, it's crazy. It's all about the marquee. So down the stretch, if a pitcher gets hot, I wouldn't. Nothing's off the grid. I think we should all do a deep dive, but go look at the last 10 winners of these awards and what they were midseason. It's kind of comical.
Yeah. The Yankees finally get out of the inning at 7-4 now, going to the bottom of the fourth.
I mean, 15 and a half. Is that a good number? I mean, it's 11 already.
Yeah.
You need 5 more runs.
But aren't you kicking yourself if you didn't bet it at 13 and a half?
You are, but you have
to,
compartmentalize and just assess at this point.
If you had to bet right now on the run line, the Yankees are -3 runs at -113. What would you do? Or the Rays +3 runs at -122. What would you go with if you had to choose one?
Probably take the +3 if I had to. I would take over 15 and a half again.
Over 15 and a half at -107 right now. Man, it's fun if you you're staying on top of this. And if you're watching pitch to pitch, and there's things you could definitely take advantage of as you go. All right. Let's see. Corey on the YouTube chat says hit the like button. Villa fan says hi Doug and hi Adam. Great name. Thank you, Villa fan. All right. So the final game of the day is the Rangers and the Mariners. This game obviously out west at 9:40 Eastern start. Rangers won behind Evaldi yesterday. The Mariners have made 2 huge trades in the last few weeks, really improving their offense. First with Josh Naylor, who's been there, and now they get Eugenio Suarez, who will actually traveled on the Mariners team plane from Arizona last night. They waited for him, and it'll be Kumar Rocker and George Kirby. Kirby obviously has not had a particularly good season, but man, the Mariners just in general, I would consider laying some money on the Mariners. I like, I know their pitching hasn't been quite as sharp as we expected, but I expected to pitch well down the stretch, and the additions of Naylor and Suarez are massive for the Mariners, Doug.
Let me ask you this. I saw a clip on ESPN.com. Buster Olney, legendary writer and reporter for ESPN, said the Mariners are now the best team in the American League. Do you agree?
You know what? It's funny that he says that because I was just telling a friend of mine today that I think the Mariners could win the World Series after this trade for Suarez. Now, if I had to say today, are they the best team in the American League today? I'm not ready to quite go there yet today, but I think they can be. But no, I mean, I know a lot of people are writing off the Tigers because they haven't played well. I know their run differential isn't amazing, but I've always been a big Blue Jays guy. I'm high on the Blue Jays more than most.
Who's their ace? Like in a 5-game series or something, like who do they throw out there?
The Blue Jays? Well, they just got Shane Bieber today. Now, I know he's been hurt all year, but if he's healthy, and he seems to be, and he should be ready to pitch soon, it's a big if, but I think he's your ace. Gossman has been great in the past. He struggled earlier this season. He's pitching better lately. And then you have Bassett and Barrios. I mean, their rotation is not amazing, but I like it. I like their lineup a lot right now.
That would be my concern.
Sure.
Because ultimately the arms are going to get you there. You can smoke and mirror it like the Tigers hope to if you have a Skubal. They don't even have a Skubal. But they can make it work now that they add Paddock, Mize, and Flaherty. One of those guys might throw a gem in the playoffs. So that's Skubal and one of those random gems.
Yeah.
And you can smoke and mirror it. I don't think the Blue Jays can. That's my concern.
You see, I like their rotation 2 to 4 as much, if not more, than Detroit for me. Now, obviously, Skubal versus Bieber is an advantage. But, and again, it's a big if. If Bieber is right, when the guy's been healthy, he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. I mean, he's a Cy Young Award winner. I know it may be hard. It's not like he's 35 and coming back from Tommy John. He's still relatively young. So we'll see. I mean, it would not shock me if he pitched like an ace down the stretch and in the postseason, and that can make a big difference. But I do think the Mariners could. Again, their pitchers have not been as good as we thought. They have the big names.
Yeah.
They haven't pitched great.
I like Wu the most.
He was their fourth or fifth starter coming into the year, and he's been the best. But if they can get their rotation the way we expected it to be in the beginning of the season, I definitely think they could win the World Series because to add two big-time power bats to the middle of the lineup, that's rare to be able to pull that off in the middle of a season, and they just did it.
I keep coming back to the Astros.
Yeah. I
Because
don't
of
like
their
their
1-2.
pitching. I don't like their pitching.
I
That's on
do.
the
I mean, that's
Browns.
the thing. I like their
Yeah.
1-2.
Well,
Brown and
Framber.
Valdez,
Yeah,
man.
Framber.
Good luck.
But they've got Framber, and they've got Brown, and they've got Hader on the back end. I don't like much in between. Now, I like those three.
I don't either.
But I don't like much in between. I think what this tells us is the American League's wide open.
Absolutely.
But
I also think the National League is too. I mean, I really do. I mean, the Dodgers
agree.
obviously are the favorites, but the 2 years they've won it, they were on the ropes.
Yeah, listen, the Dodgers, because they have a lot of older players and they have so many injuries to their pitching. I thought their lineup, while great at the top, was a little overrated top to bottom, and I think that's been the case. Obviously, the top of their lineup is fantastic, although Mookie Betts is not having a good year. And their bullpen it's got all kinds of question marks in their bullpen. What's his name? Tanner Scott's been terrible, and now he's hurt. Blake Trinan's been bad. Vesey has been good, but they don't seem to trust him in the closing spot, although he's been probably their best reliever. I mean, listen, the Cubs got their issues in terms of the rotation. I love what the Mets did. Their bullpen now looks really good, but I don't like their rotation at all. The Phillies obviously got the great rotation. They made the trade for Duran for the Twins, should help their pen. Their lineup's kind of feeling a little old right now. So, yeah, I do think the NL's wide open. And, the Padres made that big trade for Mason Miller, which I didn't see coming. They're trying to get Stephen Kwan from Cleveland. We'll see if that happens. So there's I do think it's more open than, especially in the National League, than we expected it to be.
Yeah, and it's baseball, right? Like, you can win 110 games, not that they are, but like, let's say they did, and they're okay, and they got to win 2 out of 5, right, or 3 out of 5. So
right,
this isn't the NBA where it's a controlled outcome in so many ways.
Sure.
I would never lay the Dodgers plus 120 to win the National League. I mean, that's absurd.
Right.
I mean, it's just kind of like horse racing. You want to beat the favorite, and if you have to put them in some sort of exacta or whatever, fine. But with this situation, I mean, this team lost 7 in a row recently.
Yeah.
I don't care what they are on paper. It's baseball.
If you were going to bet a team, what would you say is a long shot when you look at the World Series odds? Is plus 1,500 enough of a long shot? Or has it got to be more?
I mean, where we are currently in the season, right? Like, I think that's sort of the cutoff because there's limited time with the futures.
All right. So you have the Dodgers, Tigers, Phillies, Mets, Yankees, Astros are all better odds than that. So of the teams that are plus 1,500 or worse, you got the Cubs, Brewers, Mariners at plus 1,500. The Blue Jays also plus 1,500. Padres plus 2,800. Red Sox plus 3,000. Same for the Rangers. I guess the Reds at plus 6,000. The Royals at plus 6,000. Of all those teams, who would you feel most confident laying a few dollars on? The Mariners? The Blue Jays?
The cutoff for me is Rangers 30-1. Like, everything above that is just not happening.
Okay.
I would look at, so if you pick a National League team, it's tougher because of the path. You have to beat the Dodgers and more often than not. But if you get to the World Series, you'll likely be favored. So there's a little bit of that sort of head game. I'd say Rangers at 30-1.
I like that.
It's, I feel like Brokeback Mountain. I can't quit you, Jack. It's insane. Like, I just can't quit this team. But they're tied for second, 5 games back. I mean, they may miss the playoffs. I would say that team, just because of the arms, if they could get in. I mean, look who we've seen. Okay, instead of who's won the World Series, who's gotten to the World Series over the last handful of years? I mean, the D-backs, Rangers themselves, none of these teams were that, special.
Mm-hmm.
And And so when you factor in the price of 30-1, it's hard to say no
Yeah.
to a Rangers team like that. If they can get in, I mean, the problem is DeGrom hasn't been vintage DeGrom.
Nope. No, that's true.
And I just don't know if that's left. Red
Yeah.
Sox 30-1 is interesting. They have the quirky field with the green monster. Maybe Giolito can throw a gem. There's just Padres 28-1 still interests me.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility, especially with
they
the
did some
move they
deals,
made
right?
today. Yeah. By the
Literally
way,
a week and a half ago, we were talking about 18-1 to win the West, right? Chris and I both took that, so to speak. They're now plus 850 to win the West.
What a difference.
Right. And they got 6 more meetings with the Dodgers, I believe.
Yeah. By the way, I was just trying to think because, once between all the home runs Cal Raleigh's hit, Aaron Judge's injury, Aaron Judge was a massive favorite to win the MVP. He's now only minus 225 with Cal Raleigh plus 165. Cal Raleigh.
No. The other way around. Judge is now favored. Judge is back to the favorite.
Oh, he is?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Judge is the favorite.
Yeah, you're right. I apologize. Literally yesterday afternoon, Raleigh was minus 160.
Oh, was it? Man, I guess people thought Judge would be out longer. Maybe
it went from 103 to 160. Yeah, we talked about it a couple of days ago.
Oh, okay.
But now, it's like, okay, who's going to be who's the better bet now?
Yeah. What was Raleigh? I wonder what Raleigh was to start the season because
there were some 100 and 120-1 at the start of the season. So I know some people who have it.
I mean,
incredible.
If Raleigh hits 55 home runs, he could hit 60 as a catcher.
He's hitting 100 points less than Judge. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think it's a fascinating situation. Voter fatigue with Judge.
Yep.
Team success. If one of them gets into the playoffs and the other one doesn't, I think that'll be a determining factor.
Sure.
Although the MVP in baseball has certainly gone to non-playoff players. So it's the sport that doesn't need team success as much as it's the least amount of team success. But team success is a variable. Sometimes it's a tiebreaker. So I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating that we had a minus 10,000 that's now minus 225 or was a dog a couple days ago.
It's crazy.
Now it's crazy, right?
Yeah. Obviously, Ohtani remains a massive favorite for the MVP in the National League. At minus 1430, Pete Crow Armstrong plus 1,000, Kyle Schwarber plus 2,200.
I know guys who bet PCA but didn't beat Raleigh like a few months ago when they were each long shots.
Yeah, you should have bet them both.
That's got to sting. Yeah.
I still personally would vote for PCA, but I guess I'm a little biased.
Possibly. Look, if the Dodgers continue struggling, but Ohtani carries them, then that's going to help his cause, right?
Yeah.
Padres are only 3 back. If they fault, there could be some cannibalization. Again, fickle market. This baseball awards market is extremely fickle.
Right.
A lot of guys can assert themselves the last month or so. So we're in business here.
All right. Amish Farmer says, I have several San Diego Padres futures I like very much. Michael King is scheduled to come back from injury. San Diego has the best bullpen in the National League. Maserati Fox says, I have Cal at plus 650. Earlier in June, he was plus 3,000. Abbott 5K, Kirby 5K together plus money play.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. If you miss out on 50-1, 40-1, and it's 6-1, but you still think it's a good bet, just take it. Don't kick yourself. Don't just have FOMO for the nut number, the apex. You can still make money. I've kicked myself on not pulling the trigger, but sometimes it's just better to have that than where it's going to end up. If you think it's going to go to pick 'em, you can grab 5-1. You can't dwell on missing 30-1.
Yankees did not score bottom 4. Tampa did not score top 5. They turned a double play to get out of the inning, did the Yankees, so they go to the bottom of the 5th, still scoreless. Getting back to that Texas-Seattle game specifically tonight, we moved on to the bigger picture, but any play for you in this game, Doug, specifically tonight?
There's obviously going to be a bounce, so I'm tempted for a Reds-Mariners parlay. The problem is I just don't know what I'm going to get with Rocker, right? He's going for the Rangers. I do like the Mariners, and yeah, I mean, look, both of them are plus money on the run line, the Reds and the Mariners. So why don't I do that? Why don't I take each the Reds and the Mariners on the run line? I think both can get home, but I think I should be able to scratch out some plus money here.
Are there any? I guess there's no bets you can make in terms of will a guy get traded or stuff like that. Is there? Do we have that?
No, you can't. None of that. None of that.
Yeah. Are you excited? There's the trade deadline, something that excites you. I'm such a transaction baseball nerd. I get excited about trades.
I like it. It doesn't excite me. I'm not hanging on Twitter alerts and things like that. But I do like to see front offices and how they operate, right? Whether they're going in. I like to see the Padres make those moves. The Dodgers moves didn't really interest me that much. I like to see Seattle going for it, right? Yankees certainly aren't. What's going on there?
Well, they traded for McMahon at third base, but they haven't done anything significant to the pitching staff, which is, they need some help there. I mean, we still got 3.5 hours. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see if they do anything.
Right. I've never met Cashman. I don't know his deal, but it does baffle me how he's still got his job and everything. Just, I don't know if George, would have allowed that this long.
It's funny that you say that because I always feel like I'm in the minority. I've been ripping him for a decade. I feel like he gets a complete pass. They've had the advantage over, not the Dodgers or the Mets anymore, but for most of his tenure, he's had a major advantage over every other team. He still has a major advantage over every other team in the American League. And yet he's gotten it wrong more than he got it right with major advantages. So that guy rubs me the wrong way completely. Folks, I got to tell you right now, you can win $100 bonus bet today from Bet Rivers. Enter the Hall of Fame game giveaway on Bet Rivers Twitter account for your chance to win $100 bonus bet. Go to Bet Rivers on Twitter or X and look for the pinned post to enter. Would you believe it, Doug? We have a football game tonight. I know it's a lot of guys who are not going to be playing, but it's still football in July.
It's crazy. And I love it. And preseason betting has opportunities. Now, I don't have a play in tonight, but I've definitely a preseason better. Love doing it. And, there's always opportunities when you can get information.
Can we talk you into, are there any prop bets on Trey Lance that you like?
It is crazy that you can do prop bets in preseason games. It's just absurd that is where, things have become, which is great. I mean, it's opportunity, right? And you lower limits if you have to do all that. No, I do not have any prop bets, but he's supposed to play into the third quarter, in my understanding. So it's out there.
Yeah. Hard to believe, as smart as the organization as the Niners are, that they gave up as what they did for Trey Lance and then realized 2 seconds later he stunk.
I could have told him that, but no one asked.
They didn't listen to you. All right, Betting Weekly fast break coming your way in about 25 minutes. What do we got there going on today, Doug?
Just one game in the WNBA, so a light card like we have in baseball, but we're going to look at some futures. Bet Rivers has some great options with some adjusted win totals, like the Minnesota Lynx and New York Liberty, who played last night in a finals rematch. Also some yes-nos to make the playoffs. There's 8 teams go to the playoffs, Adam. The top 6 are set, I think. So I would say 5 teams or so competing for the bottom 2 spots. So a lot of interesting yes-no breakdown. And I'll do that with Wes Reynolds, top of the hour.
Sounds good. Thanks to Chris and Alex for producing today. Thanks to all of you for watching and listening and jumping in the chat as well. By the way, City by the Bay said he just cashed in on the Yankees plus a half in the first 5. So congratulations there. And Maserati Fox says he likes the Mystics minus 2.5 tonight. Well, check it.
Well, yeah, it's not 2.5. It's 4 now. Okay. That would be the only side I would take. It's now 4.5, actually. So it's gone from 2.5 to 4.5. It's tough. The Valkyries, we'll talk about it top of the hour. They're a tough team to figure out. They just lost their best player. They were an expansion team that was playing above their weight, so to speak. And now they lost their best player. But, they go from losing by 30 to the worst team to beating one of the best teams on the road. So if you can figure out this team, I'm all ears. So they're a little tricky, the Valkyries, but we'll see with this Mystics team. I like them a lot as well.
All right, more on that coming up in just under 25 minutes on Betting Weekly Fast Break. We'll see you next time on Betting Weekly Hardball.